Post-match analysis for Chat with Chaps, where it finished at the Den. Millwall 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Now, before we get into analysing the game, just want to take a quick moment to send love, care and thoughts to the family and friends of Sol Bamba, ex-footballer known for his time at Cardiff, amongst other places, who lost his life yesterday at the age of just 39 years old. There's too much of this happening, and I think it's right just to send that message. So on behalf of Millwall, if anyone is listening to this, thoughts go out to his loved ones. Now, let's get into the game yesterday. And we needed a response, didn't we, from the game against Leyton Orient, which was really poor. And by God, did we get one. It was, I'm going to be honest, I've got to say, it's probably the best performance I've seen in a long, long time. I would go down as a year's. That's better than anything that, in my opinion, Gary Rowett dished up. It's better than anything that, obviously, in terms of performance, I mean, it's better than anything from last season. So it was just a complete performance, and we're going to talk a lot about it. But, you know, massive credit to the players, massive credit to Neil Harris. And it was just an absolutely fantastic performance against a side that I thought would be a lot better. And Sheffield Wednesday fans, if you listen to this, you know, it's just not me sticking the knife in, but I thought he was really poor, really, really poor side. And I think George Honeyman alluded to it in the post-match, that his comments, they didn't have a spell. They didn't have a spell. But we're going to get into all of that. Well, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it? You know, the transfer market and deadline day. And those of you that joined the live, thank you ever so much. And those of you that have donated, blowing my mind. Thank you so much. We are certainly on that journey now of raising money for Cancer Research UK. So again, if you haven't liked, shared, subscribed, please do that. Much appreciated. But yesterday started with Mihailo Ivanovic being paraded on the pitch, our new record signing, 19 years of age. Unfortunately, is out for 2 months. But that is just such a Millwall thing to do, isn't it? But I think luckily for us, we certainly have someone that's going to fill that central striker role very, very well for the next few months. And we're going to talk a bit about Josh Coburn, who was outstanding yesterday and everything that a Millwall number 9 should be. But yes, it was great to see him paraded. Looking forward to seeing him in a Millwall shirt. We did a show earlier on in the week where we could learn a lot about him. So that was fantastic. And let's look at then the team that started the game. So sharing on screen now, for those of you listening on a podcast, it was essentially the same team that drew 0-0 at Hull, but with one change, which was Josh Coburn coming in for the injured Tom Bradshaw. It's now believed that he'll be out for around 8 weeks. So hopefully he can come back. And it was really nice as well to see him on the bench despite being injured. So that was fantastic to see. So just run through that team. Lucas Jensen in goal. Ryan Leonard, Japhet Tanganga, Jake Cooper with the armband, Joe Bryan, George Saville and Casper Denor in the middle of the park, Romain Esse on the right, Duncan Watman on the left, George Honeyman in behind new signing Josh Coburn, who we've got to remind ourselves, he's had half a training session. So he's come straight in, literally straight in to the side. So the game starts, and I felt that we took a little while to get into our groove, but when we did, there was one team in it from start to finish. We were, I think the word was used yesterday from Neil Harris, relentless. And that is how I would describe it. We had a good opportunity. I think it was on 13 minutes where we win a free kick, and Japhet Tanganga, an open header, free header, has got to do better with that. And he heads it, gets it all wrong. But that was a good chance. There was a couple of nearly moments as well. Coburn won the ball on 18. He was brilliant at winning the ball back. Esse had a shot blocked. We had a header, another header. I think it looked like it was from Cooper, but I think it ended up being from Tanganga. I think it was from a corner. So there was quite a bit of pressure. And there was some really nice football being played. Some of the football being played by the likes of Romain Esse, Duncan Watmore, George Honeyman, Coburn. The link-up play was fantastic. Honestly, for those of us that do not think Neil Harris can get teams to play good football, watch the performance yesterday, because we played some outstanding stuff, and we'll get into some of the goals later on. But we played some really, really nice stuff. Between I've written down here between 22 and 30. That was the period in the first half where we should have taken the lead, because we were peppering them with corners, chances, none more so than I think everyone in the ground thought we'd scored on 30, where again, some nice build-up play down the left-hand side. Joe Bryan does really well, whips in a great ball. Coburn holds off, I think it's a Hickway, and Leonard gets there right at the back post, stabs it, and it looks like it's going in. It looks like it's in. I actually thought the referee had given a foul. He hadn't. It just didn't go in. It hit the pole behind the goal. But that was probably our best chance of the game. And again, they didn't really create anything. The only moment that they caused any kind of, not panic, but Tanganga got booked on 43 from pulling down his man. He did the exact same against Hull. And that's my only slight criticism of Tanganga, who has been outstanding, by the way. And there's no surprise that he's come back into the side and we're keeping clean sheets. But he just needs to stop doing that, because he was on a booking on 42 minutes. And that could have ended up going, he had to obviously manage himself, which he did fantastically. But that's just 2 games in a row now where he's pulled someone back for a booking. But we go in at half time and we were much the better side. I didn't think they created anything. There was 2 moments in the first half that I just want to call out. There was a ball that Romain Esse played that was world class. So that's the only way I can describe it. He sort of picked it up, sort of turned, and then this pass, we're looking at it from above, and I didn't even see this pass. And he's on that pitch, and he has somehow found Leonard in acres of space, and it was just the backspin he put on it, the weight of it was. I know it's only a pass, but that was outstanding. Another outstanding moment was they did start to break, and Duncan Watmore made a recovery tackle that it wasn't his man in the first place, and he's run 50, 60 yards to come back and win that ball. Duncan Watmore, the yards that guy must put in, outstanding. He was also fantastic yesterday. Everyone was, and we'll certainly talk about individual performances later on. Half-time, go for my normal half-time pint and was talking to a few people. Really nice, by the way, to sort of meet yesterday a few people. Graham, Adam, Barry, if you're watching, really nice to have a conversation with you all yesterday. It's always nice to meet people that listen to this. God knows why you do, but thank you. And you're always nice to have a conversation with you and get your thoughts on all things Millwall. But yeah, at half time, it was like, right, well, we just need to continue what we're doing, surely, because they've not threatened us. We've had lots of chances, just that final end product. And of course, it comes in the second half. It doesn't come, though, before we have a little bit of a scare. Barry Bannon had a free kick, which, by the way, watch this back. George Saville was, fuming with the decision to give this free kick. And I've got to say, I don't often comment on referees. If you listen to this, you'll know that. But I thought the referee was horrendous, to be totally honest. He was so whistle happy, and he just blew up for so many things. And the only things he didn't blow up for was the amount of times our players kept getting pulled down in the box by them. George Savio's shirt ripped. The referee it was a really poor performance from the referee. I don't recall seeing him. His name was Lee something. But not a good performance. And this was representative of it. Never a free kick. Player just falls over. Half decent effort from Barry Bannon, who, by the way, Sheffield Wednesday fans, it's the first time I've ever seen Barry Bannon where I honestly felt he's kind of done. Now the game just looks too quick for him. Obvious quality. He's a very, very good player, and he has bossed that midfield, and he has always done us over, to be totally honest. But I felt that yesterday, Casper Denor and George Saville got the upper hand against him, and I think he's been with you 9 years now, and maybe that's something that needs to be looked and addressed from your side. Also, shout out to Ryan Leonard, who made a superb recovery tackle on 52. I think it's Musaba who knocks the ball past him, thinks he can do Leonard for pace. Oh, no way, Pedro. No, you cannot. Ryan Leonard, absolutely fantastic. Essay in the week said Ryan Leonard is the joint quickest in the club, or just maybe just behind Idemo. The guy's rapid. He's 32 years old, and any winger, knock it past, you're not going to get past Ryan Leonard. Superb tackle on 52 minutes. For those of you that had managed to listen to my opposition view with the Sheffield Wednesday fan, James from the Wednesday Till I Die podcast, you'd have heard us talk about the importance of the first goal. And I know it's one of those things you say in football because every goal is important. So, and every first goal is always important. But when you're playing a team, just to quote some stats for you, I haven't fact checked these, but these were given to me by the Sheffield Wednesday podcast, that they've played 14, lost 14 when they've conceded first away. And last season, they went behind 26 times and only managed 5 points from losing positions. So I haven't fact-checked those, but they come from a very reliable source. That showed you just how important that first goal was. And we got it. And we got it on 58 minutes. And the play, honestly, and I've literally just tagged Second Tier Podcast on Twitter because they were talking a bit about, that they think Harris is, can't remember their terminology, but essentially alluding to the fact he's tactically limited and Danny Rowe is a far superior manager and all this kind of stuff. Watch that passage of play for that goal. Anyone that doesn't think we can play football, watch it because it is brilliant. Intricate one-touch passing. You've got Essay involved, you've got Denor involved, you've got Honeyman involved, what more? And then Coburn. And then I just want to show you something here, right? I'm going to put it on screen. So when the ball breaks to Watmore, right, you can see here on screen, Watmore has the ball here. And look where Josh Coburn is. He is on the right-hand side of Jan Valery, okay? Ihikwe's coming towards the ball, so as he's got to, and then Valery has his man there and Josh Coburn. Now watch what Josh Coburn does. Gets the other side of him. Jan Valery doesn't even know. He's switched sides with him, and that is literally a split second, that movement. But Watmore gets his head up. Then fantastic from Josh Coburn, as you can see here, to stay onside, and he puts it into an empty net. At one point, I thought he was going to put it over the bar. It did look like he hit it quite hard. But I just wanted to show that because that movement there, just to show it again, from there until there, he literally just peels around the back so he can get a half a yard on the defender, times his run to perfection, and a brilliant pass from Duncan Watmore. By the way, another goal and assist for Duncan Watmore. Absolutely outstanding. And we go 1-0 up. And that really, I just felt, took the pressure off. And from 58 minutes onwards, they didn't cause us any problems. They made a triple substitution. They brought big Michael Smith on. But it didn't change anything. They did not create a single chance. And I'm going to show you in a moment some stats on how we won this game. But they had one shot on target the whole game. They were really poor. And if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, listen to this. You did not turn up. I think you got some very good players, but I mean, Jamal Lowe looked like he couldn't be asked. I've liked Ugbo, but he got no service. It was a really poor performance from you. Or were we that good? I don't know. Again, we'll talk a bit about that. So that's on 58 minutes. And the goal comes from just setting traps, It all starts, I believe, from Josh Coburn winning a ball. The ball then gets recycled again. And then some really nice players, I said, between S.A. Honeyman, Watmore, Denor. The ball from Denor to Watmore was just fantastic. Just a fantastic goal. Absolutely superb goal. On 65 minutes, I think this is when Sheffield Wednesday have their shot on target, which give a little shout out here for Lucas Jensen because he had nothing really to do in that game. But this shot was fizzed in at him and he had to hold it because if he didn't hold it, Michael Smith was waiting there and it would have been a tap in and then it completely changes the complexion of the game. So I just wanted to give a shout out there for Lucas Jensen. Lucas Jensen obviously spoke in the post-match, spoke with a lot of maturity, real mature speech in terms of talking a bit about. He apologised to the fans for his performances in the first two games. He didn't have to do that. Obviously, we know he wasn't fantastic, but he didn't have to do that. And on top of that, he then talked a bit about how motivational Neil Harris was and that goes underestimated. Yes, Danny Roll may have a tactical masterclass from when he's been in Germany, maybe, but there is no man manager that is better than Neil Harris. No one, and I will argue with anyone on that. Whatever you think of Neil Harris, the man is a motivator, and he knows how to get Millwall teams fit and firing. And yes, long may that continue. So that was on 65. And then on 71, we get our second goal. The goal comes from a free kick that we've won. So I think it's a Hikwa who handles the ball. We win a free kick. The ball gets recycled, and it's Casper Denor on the right-hand side. He picks it up. He plays a really nice little 1-2 with Tanganga, then runs down the right-hand side, knocks it past his defender. I think it's Windass who'd come on and gets the block in. Then we have the corner. And there's a lot of pushing and shoving. I think this corner took an age to be taken. And I think it's Esse kept going down. I'm not sure. This is when Saville gets his shirt ripped. But there's a lot going on. And you can see, I think Esse's done quite well there to kind of distract Ihikwa. Because I think it's him that should be trying to block the cross that comes in. And also just want to say fair play to Joe Bryan here, because I think he must spot this, because he puts in quite a low delivery rather than the sort of backstick ones that he normally plays. It goes right across the face of goal. I think it's Saville just nudges it on to Duncan Watmore, right place, right time. And I think he's been quoted as the Championship Haaland, who has now got 4 goals this season, Duncan Watmore, joint top scorer of the Championship. What a revelation. The fans erupt. And I felt yesterday, that I didn't think the atmosphere was that good until we scored. And I think there was probably a lot of nervousness in the ground. We were 4 games. It was our 4th game. We hadn't obviously picked up a win so far. We were really poor on Tuesday night. So I think there was a bit of nervousness. But once we got that goal, particularly the second, I felt that after that, it was a really good atmosphere. Sheffield Wednesday brought a lot of numbers, but they usually make a lot of noise. I didn't think they did yesterday. And there was a bit of a mass exodus, I think, once the second, I can't remember if it was the second or third goal went in. It was really odd. Like, you even got to the stage where Sheffield Wednesday fans weren't even clapping the subs. Like, it was, I don't know. Sheffield Wednesday fans tell me, I know the performance was really poor from you, but, are you starting to get concerned? What I would say is that it's really difficult in games like yesterday to decipher whether we were that good, they were that bad, or a bit of both. I'm going to go with a bit of both. But yeah, obviously always difficult to work that one out. Sheffield Wednesday they played Plymouth, who I think are going to be a bottom 4 side, and they played Sunderland and Leeds that are going to be 2 top 6 sides. So you never really knew how to grade them. But I think they'll have to improve if they want to be in the top half of the table this season. We then get our third goal. And again, I just want to talk a bit about Denor here, because I'm just going to put this on screen. But you can see here, Casper Denor, he picks the ball up. He's on the left-hand side of the pitch, right? You can see he picks the ball up there. This is in the 88th minute, right? You've got to bear that in mind. He picks the ball up there, and 10 seconds later, he is receiving the ball. You can see him here, and he's going to make that run across and into the box. So 88th minute, he's picked the ball up, far left-hand corner, middle of the park, and then he's given it to Saville. Saville, there's then played a superb ball, great vision, perfectly weighted. Denor has then made that run all the way across. Just look here. You can see where he's come from the previous shot, right? This is where he's come from. And he's made that run. You've got, what's that? 4, 5, 7 Sheffield Wednesday players ball watching. Fantastic run from Denor. He floats the ball over to the back post, where you can see Jake Cooper is waiting, and Jake Cooper heads it down. It looks like it hasn't gone in. And then Langstaff does really well. He'd come on at this stage, who looked quite sharp, actually, and lively. Sort of puts in the rebound, but the ball was already over the line, according to the referee. And we're 3-0 up. And if I'm honest, we deserved it. I genuinely think yesterday was a 3-0 game. And I don't often say that about Millwall, but the performance was that good. And we obviously then a couple of minutes of injury time, and we see the game out. And it was just, honestly, the performance was fantastic. I want to call out as well the fitness levels of our players. You know, George Saville, George Honeyman, they both started on Tuesday. They look so fit, constantly going, constantly. And Duncan Watmore, like, he's a man reborn this season. Like, he's got a new haircut, and all of a sudden he can do the fitness levels. This guy is outstanding. Like, Duncan Watmore is performing to me like a top 6 forward at the minute. You know, long may it continue, but he's like a man reborn. Just one to a man yesterday. Everyone was absolutely fantastic. And then, like, I just want to put this infographic up that I created because I wanted to show like how statistically we'd won that game yesterday. So, and there's some stats here, and I'll read them out. So XG, which is, again, I know some people don't like it, but directionally it gives you a sense of, are we creating chances and opportunities that should turn into goals? We had an XG of 2.78. So by rights, we should score around 3 goals yesterday. So it's correct. Sheffield Wednesday, an XG of 0.2. I believe that they've had an XG under 1 for their last 3 games. You know, so that there is really telling from a Sheffield Wednesday perspective. Big chances created, 4. And obviously we went on to score 3 of them. Sheffield Wednesday, 0. This one's really interesting. Total touches. So we had 466 touches. Sheffield Wednesday had 617. So significantly more. But this right here is the key. Touches in the opposition third. 31% of our 466 touches were in the opposition third, where only 17% of Sheffield Wednesday's was in the opposition third. That says it all. They had loads of the ball. I think they had 60-odd% possession, but their persistence to play out from the back. We were setting traps yesterday, and they got caught time and time and time again. And yeah, I'm sure maybe they'll get it right. But the championship sides that persist to do this is mind blowing, particularly when you don't have the players to do it. And then the other one I want to call out from this as well is the shot creating actions. So this is essentially any pattern of play that ends up with that could end up to being a shot. So it's what it says on the tin: shot creating actions. We had 32 shot creating actions yesterday to their 8. So again, you know, that's 4 to 1 ratio. It just shows you again that we played some really good stuff yesterday, and that's how we won the game. You can have all the ball you want, but if you don't use it properly, it's not going to get you anywhere. And that there is the game in a nutshell. I thought we were outstanding. The thing I want to say as well that not sure if anyone noticed this, and I'm not sure what to read into it, but at the end of the game yesterday, Neil Harris went round the ground and applauded everyone and kept tapping the badge. I'm hoping that's just him saying, listen, we've had a bit of a rough ride in the first few games. We haven't got as many points as we should have. And I'm just showing you this is what it's all about, this performance right here. So I'm hoping that's exactly what it was. You know, I think he's been questioned by so many people. And the man is just, I don't know. I'm a Harris lover. I think Angelo on the midweek live was saying you've got Harris lovers and Harris haters. I will admit I'm a Harris lover, and I think yesterday he also showed you that he can get teams to play really good football. And there we go. Man of the match. Well, I'm just going to put up this on screen, which is a tweet that I sent out yesterday after the game. And it's had 223 likes. So I'm assuming there's a lot of people that agree with me. But my man of the match yesterday was Casper De Norre. I thought he was phenomenal. There were a lot of players that were, and we're going to talk about them. But he was phenomenal. He had a hand in all 3 goals. Obviously, he got the assist for the 3rd goal. He broke up play. He covered every blade of grass. He had Barry Bannon in his pocket. You know, they had the other lad. Is it Shea Charles? I think his name is. Who is a £10 million centre midfielder. Didn't even know he was playing because Saville and De Norre were so good. But, you know, I think that was De Norre's best performance in a Millwall shirt by a country mile. And he looked, to me, like a proper top-end championship midfielder. So Casper Denor, my man of the match. I thought he was outstanding. I do want to call out some other players, though. Again, George Saville, he just looks so fit at the minute. In my opinion, that was George Saville's best performance for a very, very, very long time. I thought he was excellent. Just outstanding. His normal grit and determination, but some real good end product with it as well. I thought he was excellent. Romain Esse, just a joy to watch. You know, he is starting games, he's impacting games, and at times his technical ability, it's too good for the Championship. Seriously, he can just do things and beat players and little tricks and flicks that come out of nowhere. He's outstanding, and on top of all that, he also is adding that defensive work as well, which is just really pleasing to see. I thought he was phenomenal again yesterday. Could also be his best game in the Millwall shirt. I thought he was excellent, and to me, he is. Yeah, I think this is an accurate assessment. I think he is the best prospect that this club has produced since the days of where we obviously had Tim Cahill, Richard Sadlier, Stephen Reid. I think he's the best prospect in the last 20 years. And that's saying something. But I genuinely believe that he's outstanding. And he's got a new contract now, been rewarded for his efforts. It's great because we could have potentially... wouldn't have lost him on a free, of course, at the end of the season, but it would have been out of our hands. And now we've got a player that is tied down to a nice contract. I don't know what the term is, but let's enjoy him, because if he carries on like that, he will be a Premier League player sooner rather than later. Somebody who's not a Premier League player is Ian Fleming, because he's gone to Burnley. So, look, I think a lot has been said around Zian in terms of, you know, the way it's all come about and whatever, but I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to say, I'm going to look at it from a club perspective, which is, it looks like we've made around about a £5 million profit on him, which could it have been more? Yes. And it probably should have been last summer, but things happen, and that's what it is. It's gone now. But ultimately, with us buying out his sell-on fee that we did from Fortuna Sittard, I think that was worked by Alex Aldridge. So fair play to him, a nice little parting gift. But he goes and he's made us a £5 million profit, and we have to be good. We have to get used to this stuff as Millwall fans. We have to get used to bringing players in, them doing well and us selling them on. You know, that could happen with Esse sooner rather than later. It could happen with Tanganga, but that's okay, because we are then able, hopefully, to reinvest that money when the time is right. And, you know, it's quite nice, I suppose, for the Berrisons to probably be net positive for a transfer window for a change, which is where we'll be, obviously, once we get the Fleming money. So we will not see him in a Millwall shirt anymore. And I think in Romain Esse, we have a more than adequate, if not better, replacement. So long may that continue. Esse and Honeyman did a lot of swapping as well yesterday. So whilst Esse does start on the right, he does drift in. And I quite like that. You know, a lot's been made about, Esse, he needs to start in the 10, and I've said it. But actually, when you observe, they do switch a lot. And again, I want to give a massive call out to George Honeyman, because I think he goes underappreciated. I've said this a few times, and I thought, again, yesterday, he sets the tone with pressing, and yeah, he's never going to score a lot of goals, but I think he does so much that goes unnoticed into unforced errors, picking up second balls, keeping the ball moving, the energy. Honestly, I think we're a much better team with George Honeyman in the side. Just my opinion. And big shout out to him. Josh Coburn. So he's a player that I have liked for a long time, and if you've been listening to this, you'll know I've mentioned him before. So I was absolutely delighted when we announced the signing of him in the week. And I have a video on what Middlesbrough's version of Richard Cawley, not Cowley, because I've been told off. Richard Cawley, his perspective on Josh Coburn. So I'll link to that in a moment. So I'll link to it, so you can see it from there if you haven't listened to it. But to me, he is exactly what this side needs. And I was asked by a Sheffield Wednesday fan, did you change system yesterday? And I was like, well, no, we just played the same system, but with a striker that suited it. And that's how I would articulate it. Like Josh Coburn, his movement's really good. He's strong. He can actually win the ball in the air if we pump it long. He's got enough pace to get in behind and to run the channels. The amount of tracking back he did and he made a lot of tackles and recovery tackles that helped us, start some attacks right up at their end of the pitch. Obviously, it was great movement and finish for the goal. He just had everything. His work rate, his pressing, it was brilliant. It was a superb debut performance. And the thing that's frustrating is we don't have an option to buy. And I'm going to be honest, I think the club have messed up there. I think, yeah, okay, it might have been in our what's the word? In our capacity or within our gift to get that. But the lad, to me, is what Millwall need as a number 9. And if he was going to cost 2 or 3 million quid, I think we should have spent it. And yeah, all right, you can say it's only 45 minutes, not 45 minutes, 70 minutes, whatever he played of football. But having watched him over the last couple of years, he looks like a quality prospect. So credit to the club for getting him brought in. But my concern is that, he could walk away at the end of the season and have a really good one. And we've got no option to buy. And also don't know if they've got a recall clause either. So enjoy him while we can. But hopefully Ivanovic will come in and give him another bit of competition for places. So I thought he was excellent. The defence was really good. Every single one of the back four was excellent. Obviously, Ryan Leonard. The problem is with Ryan Leonard is he plays like that so often that you almost don't single him out anymore because he just does it so often. But he was excellent. Cooper had a much better game. Tanganga he's so much better next to Tanganga. Tanganga again, superb. Joe Bryan had a really good game. I think the last 2 performances in the league against Hull and obviously yesterday, you're seeing the best of Joe Bryan. I thought he was excellent. Obviously, Lucas Jensen did his job. I'm trying to think what I haven't mentioned. I think I've mentioned everyone now. Obviously, nice to see Ryan Wintle come on. Macaulay Langstaff looked sharp when he came on. So the bench looked a lot stronger. Having options like, if we did need to get a goal, having options like Imaku, Aziz, Langstaff to come on. That's without Ivanovic. That's without Bradshaw. So all of a sudden the squad just looks better. And whilst I probably would have liked 1 or 2 more, we have so much more strength in depth than we did if you cast your mind back to the subs bench against Watford and against Bristol City. I thought Bristol City were the best side we played all season, and I stand by that. But then they lost 3-0 at Derby, who I thought were, dead certs for bottom 6. But what do I know? That says it all. Look, I'm gonna leave it there. I just want to say again, I thought it was an outstanding performance, a pleasure to watch. We're going to the international break now. Has it come at the right time, wrong time? Don't know. Who knows? But we can enjoy that. If you are listening, we have got tons of stuff coming out as well for the international break. So there's going to be a lot of content that comes out. So bear that in mind. We are, as you can probably tell, we are putting out all sorts at the moment. I don't, as I said, when I started this, there was no plan. We're just rolling with the punches and trying to get out the best quality content that we can. And we appreciate all the support. As I said, it's very humbling. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks as always. Bye for now.